There were lots of good people who in the 20th century thought that apartheid was a good idea. Well, shame on them, they should have known better. Well, shame on us, we should have known better if we don't study religion carefully and understand its mainspring and its wellspring and what it's doing before we start mucking about trying to change the world. So all I'm calling for is that we subject religion to the same sort of probing, intensive analysis, objective, naturalistic analysis, that we subject global warming to, and the economy, and the water problem, and all the other phenomena that are problematic in this century. Well, one way to study anything is to get a little distance from it. Various authors have said that the point of science, or the point of poetry, you can find quotes both ways, is to make the familiar strange. To get some distance from them so that things you take for granted are no longer so obvious. So let's imagine that we're Martian scientists and we come to Earth, and what are we going to see? Well, this is one thing we're going to see. Now, what is it? Is it a whale? Is it a tongue? Is it a microorganism? No. This is a shot from outer space of approximately 20 or 30 million people gathered on the banks of a river in India. The largest congregation of human beings in history so far as we know. Now that's impressive. This is impressive too, not quite as numerous, and so is this. Here we have remarkable gatherings of bipeds, of mammals, more impressive in some ways than the Serengeti. And the Martian would want to know, what on earth is this? What is going on? How did all this originate? What is it for? How does it perpetuate itself? It can't be just an accident, just a coincidence. Nothing that is that costly in terms of time and energy, nothing that is that stupendous and just in terms of bringing together organisms in one place without eating each other. This is a remarkable thing, and we need to see what's going on, and we should try to get some distance on it. There have been lots of religions. Nobody knows how many, but if you guessed 1 million, you probably wouldn't be wrong. Hundreds of thousands anyway. Most of them are extinct, just the way most species are extinct. Most of the species that have ever lived on this planet are extinct. Most of the religions that have ever been formed on this planet have gone extinct long ago, most of them probably leaving no trace. That's why we can't count them. The ones that have survived are extremely well designed. They are robust. They are efficient. They are extremely good at persisting. How? Why? Well, compare them with languages. Successful languages are well designed too. And here again, we have a problem of extinction. Languages are going extinct, I think, at the rate of about one a month or maybe even one a week. There are thousands of languages now, but in 100 years there are only going to be hundreds or maybe dozens. These are topics well worth interesting research. Well, nobody designed languages. Well, yes, Esperanto and computer languages are designed. But aside from them, languages, although they are well designed, were designed by nobody. Nobody has the patent on French, for instance. How about religions? Well, they evolved too. They weren't invented. Again, One can think of exceptions, Scientology, and a more or less intelligently designed religion. Well, if they evolved, why did they evolve? Well, here we get the usual litany, and I'm just going to remind you of it so that we can set it aside. Why does religion exist? Well, because it promotes social cohesion and altruism, because it allays the fear of death, because it explains the inexplicable, because it secured the domination of the powerful. Those are four of the most popular explanations for why religions exist and persist. Well, maybe, but maybe not. I want you to set those aside. I suspect there is a grain of truth in all of them, but only a grain, because I want you to reconsider the question and reconsider other answers that you probably haven't contemplated. In particular, don't assume that religions were good for something. I have an antidote to this assumption. When I started working on religion and the evolution of religion, lots of people came up to me and they said, "Oh, Dan, that's interesting. You're going to work on the evolution of religion. That's great. What do you think religion is for?" After all, every human group that's ever been studied has some sort of religion. What do you think it's for? I said, well, I think that's the wrong question. Every human group that's ever been studied has the common cold. What's it for? It's for itself. It's for itself. It survives and we can't get rid of it. Just because something persists doesn't mean it's good for something except itself. You need to maintain an open mind about this because there are other options. Now, the idea that people were expressing and asking me what I thought religion was for is what we might call naive adaptationism. And people love to jump up and down and criticize naive adaptationism. That's the view that Pangloss's view that everything in God's green earth is for something, and it's for the good of people typically, and we have to set that aside. That's a bad assumption. But so, what's not naive adaptationism? What is its mark? I submit that it's this: that adaptationism acknowledges that there is design to be explained. I've already done that. I said, look, religions are well designed. They are not haphazard collections of junk. They're not random. Something has to explain that. Something has to account for the R&D, the research and development that made religions as good as they are at what they're good at. That's what an adaptationist supposes, is that whenever you find design, this improbable departure from randomness, you have a task to explain how it got that way and why. But there are more answers than at first appear obvious. So I'm saying religions weren't invented, they evolved, and now the question is how? How did they evolve? And from what did they evolve? From what? These are good questions. So here's the outline of my talk.